Hello, everyone. Alex Wilson here, accredited mental health social worker and owner of Mindful Recovery Services in the New South Wales Central Coast. I'm doing a little vlog today. We are in very interesting times. The last couple of weeks have been very intense. Things are changing day to day with this pandemic, and it's having an impact on us as individuals, businesses, communities. There's this air of anxiety, I think, that's surrounding everything, and a lot of apprehension of what's going to happen, how bad is this going to get, how long is this going to last, and what does it mean for me. And so I wanted to just do a bit of talking about how we might approach and greet this change, right? Because it is a change. Our whole lifestyles have changed in the last 2 weeks, and in ways that we couldn't have imagined they were going to change. So, change tends to be very scary for human beings, right? And I hear a lot from my clients that they're very uncomfortable with change, that the unpredictable nature of things, and the sense of I've gotten used to things being this way and now they're different, and how do I adapt to that when it does feel quite scary? So it's all about a mind state, right? So we can approach this change with fear and a sense of doom and gloom, and a sense of I don't want this to be happening, I don't want things to be this way, I don't want to make these changes. All of those thoughts and feelings are really valid, but none of that is going to be very helpful for us at negotiating our way through whatever the next few weeks, months are going to hold, right? So we want to validate that, yes, fear is going to be triggered, change is hard and uncomfortable, it can be very scary, and we can sometimes struggle to see opportunities with change, right? But that's what I want to talk to you about today, about this shift in mind state from this is happening to me towards more of I'm making opportunities out of this, right? And I'm figuring out my own way through it. One of those mind states, which is this is happening to me and I'm resisting it every step of the way, we refer to that maybe as not accepting reality, right? It makes sense, it's valid, but it's just not that helpful. We can get stuck in that inner dialogue of this isn't fair, it's not right, I'm scared, la 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 la, right? Just not helping us to move forward. We want to shift to a mind state of, okay, this is not how I thought things would go, and this is not how I would have chosen them to go, right? But here we are. And what do I have control over? What don't I have control over? So I don't have control over what's happening all out there, right? Other people, the world, the virus, all the things, right? The economy, the government. What do I have control over? Okay, so where am I going to put my energy in my day-to-day that's going to be most helpful for me? And even where can I put my energy with the goal of coming out of this difficult time, maybe more resilient and better in some ways, a better version of myself than I went into it with, right? There's always an opportunity with change for growth. Yeah, but again, we need to challenge that fear about, change being a big scary thing. Yeah, it is scary, but it doesn't mean everything's going to go badly. So I want to talk about some examples of how we might approach this change in ways that are going to be helpful. So what I've been hearing from a lot of people this week in particular is that, a lot of people are starting to feel like, oh, I'm just drifting through the days. I just wake up, I don't do anything. I'm like watching telly. I talk to some friends, I go to sleep. I'm feeling unmotivated. I'm lacking energy. I'm feeling kind of down, kind of low, right? So I'm hearing a lot of this. And that makes sense, given what's happened. And it takes time to adjust to the changes that are happening. But it's a good opportunity to say, okay, rather than just floating through the days aimlessly with, nothing really that I'm focusing on, what would be a good way that I can set up a new routine for myself, a new structure, a new schedule, a new plan for my days that are going to be really helpful for me coming through this as a more resilient, better version of myself. Right? So I'm not suggesting that you have some rigid plan where it's like, right, get up 7:30, right? Like, I'm suggesting that you have some sort of plan, just some sort of plan. Some sort of routine. Now, with my kids, they're off school, so they have a bit of a routine. So they have, their morning activities, and then their morning tea and their lunch and things, and then some afternoon activities. There's flexibility in those things, but it's a bit of a structure, and they seem to respond pretty well to that, so that it's not all day, Mum, what are we doing? I'm bored, right? We know what we're doing for the day. They get to choose the things that they do as long as there's variety. And I do insist that there's at least one physical activity and exercise in there, which I'm going to talk about in a minute. We want to have some sort of a plan. So even if, each morning you sit down, over your cup of coffee and say, right, what do I want to focus on today? What are a couple of things that I want to get done, or what are a couple of things I want to put energy into? If you're really organized, you could have a look at your whole week, and do sort of a weekly planner like you might do with your working week. Yeah, and this is what I do. I look at it. In fact, I do sort of a monthly planner, although I've had to change it in the last couple of weeks because the month has not gone as I thought. But, how can I see every day what is the priorities for today, and where am I fitting things in, and how am I making sure that I'm getting a balance, right? So I'm doing some work. I'm still working, albeit from home. So I'm doing work-related things, business-related things, but then also how am I getting my exercise in? How am I getting family time? How am I organizing meals? How am I getting, some things done around the house that I have the opportunity to do? How am I also investing energy in other things that I usually don't get the time to do, which is a really great opportunity. So thinking about how can I have a flexible routine, a flexible schedule, so that I feel like I'm working at things. I feel like I'm being somewhat productive. Again, it's a flexible schedule, right? And you schedule in downtime, right? So, okay, between 1 and 3, Netflix, right? That's a schedule. We just don't want it to be, like 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Netflix. That's fine for a couple of days, but you're probably, if you're doing that, you're going to find excuse me, that your energy levels are going to plummet. And what happens when our energy levels plummet, our mood goes with it, right? So we need to be mindful of variety. So having a routine is my number one tip. Number 2, we need to move our bodies on a regular basis. Now think about your usual schedule of going to and from work, dropping the kids to school, going to the gym, going to the shops, going to see friends, right? Usually, if your day's anything like mine, we're just running around all day, right? Active, active, active. All that incidental exercise. We're not getting that at the moment, right? We're sitting at our homes, we're sitting at our desks, maybe we're going out in the garden if we're lucky enough to have a garden, but we're not getting all that activity. So it's really, really important that we schedule in intentional exercise. Okay, and so this is another very important tip that I'm giving you. Make sure at least once a day that you are intentionally moving your body and getting your heart rate up a little bit, for whatever that looks like for you, because we're not getting all that incidental movement. Again, exercise has a massive impact on mood, right? And if you're someone like me who's used to going to the gym and doing all that stuff, you cut that out, and then you cut out all your day-to-day incidental exercise, and that's a massive difference. And the potential there is that it really sends us down into a very low mood state. Every day, some form of exercise. You can still go for a walk outside. Just stay away from being close to people, right? You can still run, right? There's nothing to stop you doing that. Just run somewhere where you've got space away from people, right? You can set up a home gym. You can set up a home circuit. You can do online videos, yoga, exercise routines. A lot of gyms and places like that have online programs that you can follow, right? So set yourself up a space and do something every day. Really important with kids as well. Think about how active kids are at school. If they're not at school, they are not burning off this energy. They are not moving their bodies in this way. So they need to have intentional exercise. If you're lucky enough to have a garden, utilize it. If you're not, just go outside anyways. Choose a walking track. Walk around your block, whatever it is. Ride some bikes, whatever you need to do. Okay, very, very important. Third, and this sort of ties into that, it's really important that you get outside and get some sun and some fresh air. Now, it's not very sunny at my place today. There was a little bit of sun. We know that sunshine is very helpful for mood. That doesn't mean that you sit and sunbake. It means, 10 minutes or so a day of just being outside, okay? But also being outside in nature if you're lucky enough to do that, but just getting out of the house, going on your balcony if you have one, or if you can't get outside, if you're not allowed for some reason, opening up all your windows, just getting a connection with the outdoors so we don't start to feel that cabin fever, right? So that's tip number 3. Tip number 4, explore new hobbies, okay? Think about what are the things that maybe you've said to yourself, oh, I really wanted to do that, or I wish I had time to do that, or one day I'll do that. Now is the time, right? So maybe it's learning a new skill like how to bake something or how to cook certain foods, or maybe it's learning how to knit or crochet. Maybe it's putting together a scrapbook for your kids of all their photos or family holidays. Maybe it's, rearranging your furniture and trying a new layout. Lots of different things that we usually don't have time to do, and now is the time. Again, it's important to keep our brain stimulated, particularly if you're not working from home, right? Then you're not using your brain in that same way, and then we can start to feel really kind of down and unmotivated and lethargic, okay? So finding ways to stimulate your brain, learn new things, practice new skills. Like how cool would it be if you came out of, this whole process and you had a brand new skill, right? That'd be pretty awesome. Another tip that I want to give you is reaching out to people, okay? So social isolation is exactly what it sounds like. It's isolating. So call your friends, call your family, send messages to people, drop something in your neighbor's letterbox just to say hi. Reach out to people, have the conversations, understand everybody's feeling really isolated. So again, we're not getting all that incidental contact where we might talk to work colleagues or, neighbors while we're out mowing the lawn or things like that. So really important to plan intentional contact, okay? And the final tip I'm going to give you is that it is a really, really great time to invest in a regular mindfulness meditation practice, okay? This is one of the things that people say to me, yeah, I mean to do that, but I run out of time, right? I get so busy and I forget. Okay, so now there's no excuses, right? This is the perfect time to set a routine for 5 minutes every day of practicing some mindfulness practice. Now that could be using a guided app. That could be, just focusing on breathing. It could be practicing in any way that you want to practice your mindfulness. Jump online. There's a million resources out there. Find ways to practice that suit you and schedule it in every day. This is going to be the most protective thing you can do for your brain, your mental health over this period of time. And again, wouldn't it be great if we came out of this saying, wow, like we are more centered, more resilient, more aware, more able to regulate strong emotion. Those are all the benefits of mindfulness. So now is the time to start that practice. All right. So those are just a few little tips to think about as we enter into this phase of not really knowing how long we're all going to be at home and having to socially distance and all that sort of stuff. Reach out on our website, drop me a line, drop my team a line. We'd love to hear from you and how you're going with all of this. And if you have any tips in addition to the ones I've mentioned, any things that have been helpful for you in reducing that sense of, social isolation, lethargy, lack of motivation, please let us know. All right, thanks. Bye.